Hi, it's We from Wecon Wargaming here, and I'm bringing you another tournament report. This time we have an 2,000 point match play tournament from the Age of Sixmar crew out in Toronto, where I live. And it's called the Winter Blues. Actually, this organization, they're kind of the big Age of Sigmar community out in Toronto, and they pick a theme every year for their event naming. So they've gone ahead and said that for 2018 they're going to be using a musical theme for every event. So this Winter Blues event, which just wrapped up, was very well attended. It was 18 players, a bit larger than the other events that I've been going to, except for the boys. But really great in terms of local players. And in fact, I know that this event could grow because there's a number of people that I play that weren't there. So certainly there's a growing community in Toronto, and I'm glad to see Age of Sixmar really succeeding and having their events be much larger. So just my couple thoughts on the event. It was run out of this fabulous store. I haven't been there before, ever, which is very strange because I don't live that far. It's called Sword and Board. It actually used to go by the name of Dueling Grounds, but I believe there was some ownership change, and anyhow, the name is now Sword and Board. It's a fabulous store. The event space is all kind of in the basement. It was able to accommodate the tournament size that we had quite easily, right? So it was a 3-round tournament, and yeah, so just overall the results. Sorry, I'll have to apologize. I don't remember them exactly, but I believe the best overall went to Paul Jetski. I think so, with his Seraphon. So if you follow my other videos, Paul did really well at the Canhammer after Old St. Nick event, which was held in the first weekend of 2018, and it's the same list. I won't go over it because I don't remember it and I didn't play him this time. So, but I think it's 3 units of like 5 knights, a Thunderquake battalion. That sounds about right. I recall Engine of the Gods, a stag, salamanders. That sounds about right. There's some, and I know there's some points for for summoning that's in there. Anyways, I mean, I think he obviously did very well. So congratulations to him. I wish I could recall who got second place. I don't think. I can't remember. I'm sorry. To the Age of Sixmar crew, I'm sorry about my brain fart there. But I know that Gwen Kellum, she placed 3rd with her Disciples of Zinch, and I played her the first round in the same Canhammer after Old St. Nick, and I believe she used the same Disciples of Zinch list, which was like a change host. Actually, I don't know. I can't confirm because I didn't play her, and her list is available, but I'll have to post it up. But it's basically a change host using like horrors and Lord of Change and Changeling and things like that. Tricksy stuff, Tricksy Zinch things. So the event, I think, went by incredibly smoothly. It was, 3 rounds you get done in like 8 hours, and it's not a hard 8 hours, right? Like you just, you have time for lunch, you have time for breaks in between, and the vibe is very, very positive, I'd say. Like, it's a very fun crowd. It's a competitive crowd. They're playing to win, which is great, but it's not like you're jerks about it, I'd say, right? Specifically Age of Sixmar crew, they've been able to foster a very good community culture, right? So yeah, I think it was very hard, and some things that I'd like to note is that there's incredible list diversity. So you have 18 players, and you'd think, okay, well, and I made a joke to the TO beforehand, before he was going to release the list, and said, well, okay, how many Stormcast armies are we going to do? Like, we're talking about 50%, and the rest are Zinch. Like, what are we dealing with here, right? Because it's actually my first ever event with the Age of Sixmar crew, and he said, no, it's really not what you think. And there's only 1 Stormcast player, maybe 2 maximum out of the 18. We had Paul with his Seraphon. We had 2 Zinch players, not that bad. I believe 1 or 2 Blades of Corn. I think we had 2 Fire Slayer lists. No Cards on Overlords, which is strange. But you know, we had 3 Death players. Like, when does that happen, right? And so there was a pretty good cross section of armies that, for an 18-person event, it's pretty impressive, right? That it hasn't centralized so heavily. There's definitely okay. I would say that Iron Jaws always overrepresents relative to competitiveness, because I mean that army is just gorgeous and fun, and anyways, I think a lot of people like the Iron Jaws. I like the Iron Jaws. I wish I could build and paint an army right now, but I only have so many hours in a day. So anyhow, so on to results. So there's 3 rounds. The missions are actually already pre-selected for us, and they were just the Battle for the Pass was game 1, Total Conquest was game 2, and Star Strike was game 3. So I'll just go quickly over my 3 games, who I played, what lists I played, things like that, things that I can recall. My first game was against Richard Joshua. Now, he is hilarious, and he is so good, and he has a painting studio, but I'm giving a, so make sure you check out his painting studio, RM Studios with his partner Richard and Mark, right? So RM Studios, and he was playing a Soul Blight army. Anyways, the list is basically like 2 Vampire Lords and Zombie Dragons, and then 7 units of 3 Vargeist. And so that was a heck of a game. I think, so he won that game, and the way that we had set up, we stayed 24 away from each other basically, right? And it's deployed long ways, but we were staring down each other, and so I finished before him because I only have 7 drops, and I said, you know what, you should take first turn, because number 1, I wanted to vie for the double turn, and number 2, I was predicting him to advance pretty aggressively at me, so I want to be able to charge with all of my monks rather than get charged, because getting charged is way worse for me. So, and that's exactly what happened. So I charged with Plague Monks into Vargeist. The one thing is Vargeist are way more durable than I really realized. I thought Stabby Monks could do more work than that, but the big critical error, the hugest error that I could have made was really in my pile-in phase. I got too aggressive with them, right? So I was piling them in, and I didn't realize that I had put myself within 3 inches of both of his zombie dragons with the same unit. So I was like, freak. Like, I went, obviously, I attacked what I could, and I, took out some models, but like the zombie dragons come in, they just flip things over, and it's it was looking bad. So suffice to say, right? But the goal that I was trying to like, it's a little bit my train of thought was, I only charged like I think 2 units of his Vargeist with the kind of first screener unit of Plague Monks, and I was thinking, okay, with 2 I can try to kind of like take them down or wipe them out completely, and then just afterwards hopefully I've conga lined it in a way, because it's a short board edge, right? I've conga lined it in a way such that it zones out the other wave of Vargeist that comes in, and then the zombie dragon, so that they can't get to my. I had one really long wave of monks in the front, and I wanted them to basically just take a little bit of the bite out of his army, and then zone out my two big units as well that were behind it, so that way I could then counter punch or counterattack his counterattack, and hopefully under the wave of 80 Plague Monks take out what's left, and then see where we stand from there. I mean, it's not the most sophisticated plan, but something. And because I had done that with the zombie dragons, that whole plan was just shit. So, but I mean, credit to him. I mean, like his army it's totally cool. It's a blender. I mean, it just, it's not subtle in any way, but it's fast, and it like hits hard, and that's really cool. I mean, I don't know, like competitively, will that be a list that really does well against the top lists. I don't think so, but you know, certainly good on him. You know, he did great against me, and super cool guy. And definitely, if you're watching this video, please check out our RM Studios for any painting commission and terrain. I'm actually getting terrain from his partner as well. I'll show that off in the video later. Anyways, back to the event recap. So game 2, I played against my old friend, and you've seen I've actually featured him in both my tournament coverages so far. One from Lords of War and one from Canhammer, which is Andy Mudge. You know, so he brought the Blades of Corn once again with the Council of Blood. He's been tweaking it every time I've played him, right? So he's got the Council of Blood, 2 D-Thirsters, and a Wrath Bloodthirster, the big Bloodthirster with the big chain. And then he had 2 units of 30 Bloodletters, Herald on a Jug, I want to say, and Slaughter Priest, and of course Blood Secretor. I want to say Blood Secretor, and then he had like 5 Flesh Hounds on the thing, and 10 not Marauders, Blood Reavers. Anyways, so that's his list. We were playing once again, we were playing the totally cool and fun deployment of Total Conquest, which is that, you know, 9 inches, and it's awful. Anyways, Total Conquest takes like half an hour to set up just the zones, let alone play the game. But yeah, I was able to win that game. And what it was is and you'll see it like from the video, but which unfortunately in that specific video, I had to switch to like I was running low on memory, I was freaking out. I normally bring an empty memory card, but I didn't, and so I had to switch to like a low bit rate thing until my wife could come and provide me an SD card with space on it. So unfortunately the video didn't turn out as well as I would hope, but what happened is that I'm on the objective with my 40 rats, and I'm like this, like waiting for the pain to come from his Bloodthirster and his 30 Bloodletters. But you know, Inspiring Presence does wonders, right? So he comes in, he swings, you know, takes out like whatever, 6, 7, 10 rats, I don't know, whatever it is, 30 rats. And Inspiring Presence does work, right? So, and then monks do work, stab, and eventually you drag down the Bloodthirster, eventually do. And the other thing is really the play catapults. The play catapults, I feel like sometimes they're money in the bank, like they are ridiculous, and then other times they're just like, well, three play catapults this shooting phase, 0 hit or 0 wounded, and or like it's like, okay, 3 damage. It's, you know, some of it not even incredibly underwhelming, like super duper underwhelming. It's a lot of points, but I like that shooting, so they'll probably stay. Anyways, so on my left flank was really, you know, the Vermin Lord, and 20 Plague Monks were going that way. You know, I had 20 Plague Monks going down the middle and 20 Plague Monks down like the short side, right? And you know, we were able to kind of trade Plague Monks for Bloodletters in the middle. The 20 Plague Monks on the left took out like the Flesh Hounds and the 10 Blood Reavers, right? And the ones on the right actually were just all-stars. Like they just survived almost until the very end, where it was only really the Herald and like the Slaughter Priest that were left, right? So, and I was able to like take the Vermin Lord all the way to his corner and take out, you know, whatever was there. I forget what character. Anyways, great game. I mean, Andy is a great guy. You know, every time we play, it's become a little bit of a running gag that we're gonna play each other. I thought he was joking, 100%. But yeah, it was a fun game. I mean, I didn't know that I would win. I mean, it's just a coincidence that I've won 3 times in a row, I want to say, but you know, who knows. But yeah, anyways, so game 3 was against Curtis Clouet. Clouet? I want to say Clouet. Or Clouet. We'll go with Clouet. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. And he's playing the Disciples of Zinj. But his Disciples of Zinj is actually completely different than the way Gwen plays Disciples of Zinj. Like, the list is almost like just totally different list, right? So there's only one aspect. It's a pretty good aspect that is common, which is a Gone Summer on a Bailwind Vortex, which is just the biggest pain in the butt in the world. But as far as I remember the list, and I'll post it up in the raw feed, the actual list. But off the top of my head, it's 30 Zangors, 9 Skyfires, 3 of those other close combat Skyfires, I don't know what they're called, 2 units of 10 Marauders, each for Marauders, and some dudes on discs that buff the Skyfires. I don't know. So, you know, I lost that game. You know, the problem is that, like, I got 1, 2, 3 units of Plague Monks, right? And I said, okay, fine. This one is Inspiring Presence. It's fine. Okay, cool. Gone Summoner goes up. Let's torch that unit for 22 models. I'm like, okay, well, they're all dead. You know, like, what am I supposed to do? I can only roll so many 6s, right? But that's how Gone Summoner, man. Gone Summoner's like that. I would say, like, you know, Skyfires, they were okay. I don't worry that much about Skyfires in shooting. In close combat, that's a whole different story. But shooting wise, I don't worry about them that much because I have just a jillion bodies, right? But what was really the craziest part of playing against Curtis was those Zangors, right? So 30 Zangors just hit like a truck, right? And you know, we were talking after the game, and he's like, well, the benefit of Zangors is that, you know, if you buff them right, which I don't know all the vagaries of it, but it's like you can fight in your hero phase. So he's like, well, if I charge you, then and let's say I get a double turn, then I can fight again in the hero phase, fight again in my own combat phase. That's a lot of fighting, and that will do a lot of damage to a lot of, like, armies, right? So what he did was basically, because he deployed as far back as possible. Like, he didn't want me close to him, right? And specifically my catapults, because 30 guys, my catapults love that, right? So I just bump up my Plague Monks. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to come to him because he's gonna just shoot me to death if I don't, like, come to him. And what I didn't realize is that, and normally I would kind of deploy like with a big screener line, but I don't know what it was. I just felt like I needed to, like, deploy them as their own blobs. I mean, my deployment is not very sophisticated, but anyways, it is what it is. So I bumped up everything, advanced it. Yeah, I thought, I was like, okay, well, I'm like 20 or so inches away. It's pretty far, right? And what I didn't realize is that the Zangors, they can move, advance, and then charge. I was like, what? Okay. But then from, you know, because Curtis has got a lot of experience with that army, he's like, well, I'm going to use my Destiny dice, right? And he's like, well, fantastic. My advance is automatically 4 inches. Great, thank you. And I charge, and I'll automatically pick 11 inches. So he just screeched across the table. And I was just like, wow, holy moly, that is a crazy charge distance. Movement for guys on foot. I mean, and so once again, it's it's just a learning point for me that, like, Zangors can have that type of speed. Now, you know, of course, Zangors they did a lot of work, a lot of damage to me. I mean, the going through 80 Plague Monks is not easy for any unit. I mean, it's a lot of dudes, even after battle shocks, and you know. But the thing is that in my subsequent round, I'm like, okay, fine, let's do some work. They're here. I mean, I barely touched them with my Plague Monks, but I dragged down what I could, but there's still plenty of them left. So I'm like, all right, sweet. I got three Plague Monk catapults right in range here. Let's do some work on some freaking Zangors, right? And as you know, I got a +1 to hit, so it's like, all right, the 2 up, 3 up, re-rolling 1s because my artifact on the Warlord. It's like, okay, not bad, and I withered them as well. So I have a pretty good chance of like doing damage to them, right? But having it, well, what do you know? Like I rolled like 2 1s to hit, like awful. So what could have been, you know, maybe 20 damage in and around that turned into 7, right? And it was like, wow, that's not very good, right? And so of course, I mean, that's very disappointing, but you know, I think even if they had done a lot more damage, I don't think I was in a position to win that game, you know. So but congrats to Curtis. I mean, you know, he has a beautiful army. It's painted beautifully. I learned a lot from that game. It's a little bit painful to eat a Gaunt Summoner and then eat a wave of Zangors and then have Skyfires come in and mop up everything else. It was like, oof, this game's over so hard. But you know, Disciples of Zeech is nothing to mess with, right? So, anyways, that's basically it. I mean, oh sorry, just one last thing. I mean, Curtis was also the one that he won the boys, right, in 2017 with that same army. So, I mean, credit to him. You know, he's been doing very well with his army. I'm not sure how he lost the second game. Oh, he lost the second game to Mike Simeon, who was playing Iron Jaws, and I don't know how that happened, but he just beat him. I suppose. I mean, Mike can just take the charge and give back just as good as he got it, right? So, good on for Mike for that. But anyways, so those are my kind of overall thoughts on the event upcoming. I'm going to be heading to LVO, so I'm going to be playing in the doubles event with my friend Joe. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be playing. Definitely he has to use his Stormcast because that's all he has, but I have some options on my side. And after that, I'll be playing in the singles, of course, with my Skaven Pestilence. So I'll definitely be posting a lot of content coming out of the LVO weekend and trying to give my perspective on everything, and hopefully come out top Skaven Pestilence player in the ITC. We all have goals. That's my very small goal. We'll see. Anyways, that's it. If you want to have any questions about the event or anything about Age of Sixmar, RM Studios, any of the games that I played, the lists, what have you, I encourage you to, of course, watch the videos from the raw feed videos from the games, and but of course you can leave a comment and let me know what you think or any questions you have. I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Anyways, have a good night. Bye.